Welcome back to Rides and Drives Team Radio. I'm Harvey. I'm here with Kaz, and we just watched a monster qualifying session at the Ontario Honda Dealers Markham IndyCar race. I guess that's what it's called. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, what a crazy day. And, it started with a, well, I'm just going to call it a shit show yesterday. Uh,
100%. Harvey, I very badly want you to get the beep button ready
yeah.
because we're going to talk about the insane qualifying order that we're looking at in a hot second. But I do want to take, I don't know, 2, 3 minutes to talk about the experience Friday, Saturday, and what it means for IndyCar. And, look, we're fans and we're very infrequently highly critical of the series. And that's not because we don't want to be critical, it's because we generally think they do a great job.
Right.
Um, there were balls dropped.
Big balls dropped.
There were large balls dropped. So look, you can blame your contractor all you want.
Right.
Green Savory did not do what they were meant to do, which is frustrating because they're a promotion company that's produced St. Pete this year. They produced the Portland race, and they also did Mid Ohio.
Yeah,
This is a company that has all the experience in the world.
and they've been doing the Toronto IndyCar race since its inception. So it's not like
Mhm.
they're new to Canada, new to the area. They didn't have their shit together, but
And
the
and look, I ultimately the final blame. It's on a lot of people. The production company absolutely missed out on prepping a track that should be this should be a very it's rudimentary. Get your barriers up properly. Make
yeah,
sure fans know where they're going. I a lot of my complaints that I'm about to reference right now come off of Reddit. So there's not a lot of verification on this. I was not on site, nor was Harvey, but I've seen it's especially frustrating because Friday was Fan Friday,
yeah,
wherein local residents, anybody, could come to Friday track action for free, watch practice, hang out, get into IndyCar. To have people show up and have things happen like they had grandstand tickets and the grandstands weren't marked and the physical layout didn't match the map online and volunteers didn't know what grandstand they were at. Oh, and by the way, water refill stations were empty by midday. This is a big way to lose a lot of potential new fans. And you can blame the production company all you want, which IndyCar has, kind of a little nudge that, like,
oh,
hey,
more
we
than a
gotta,
little.
no, I'm sorry. You
Doug
hire
Bowles was surprisingly critical in his statement of Savory, Green
you
Savory.
hire a contractor, it is your job to watch over them.
Oh yeah, no,
I
hey, here's my example of why you as the the owner of the series need to do this. I hired a contractor to do an addition to our house when we were many years ago, right?
That's right.
And I checking at the end of one day and went into a room that we had scheduled to get drywalled the next day. And I looked at the room and I said, "So when's the window going in there?" And the guy said, "What window?" And I said, "The window that's supposed to be right there on that wall." And
The
he
window in the
said,
specs, bud.
"There's no window here." And I said, "Let's look at the plan." And looked at the plan. There it was, a window. He's like, "Oh, they got the window there. It slowed things down, all that." So, yes, the contractor, it's his job, but it's your responsibility to make sure he does his job. And
Yeah.
IndyCar did not do that with Green Savory. At least, they said they were on site helping out, all this stuff. But if they showed up Thursday or Tuesday, even, and said, "This is not acceptable," that's too late.
Look, I read one comment, and again, this is from Reddit comments. None of this is anything I can verify. I read a comment that suggested initially catch fences were installed in the wrong place and needed to be forklifted to the proper location on the track
Mhm.
on Friday.
Wow. Yeah.
That is egregious. Green Savory, yes, you dropped the ball, 100%. IndyCar, you did too. Stop dodging blame. I absolutely agree with you that track safety is paramount importance, but it's not, you can't just show up on Friday and expect things to be proper. You
Right.
need to have as the series grows, and we are growing,
Yeah.
you need to take accountability for making sure that it grows properly. And it's just wild to me that they would be so cavalier about a new street race. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Look.
Well, here's the only good thing about this, right?
Mhm.
Yes, it really caused a lot of frustration for fans in the area, and maybe some have been turned off.
I think
Tell
more
it.
than some. I think this left a very bitter taste in the mouth for a lot of potential fans. People came down
Okay.
with their kids because, hey, this is something to do in town right now, and we're not really into IndyCar. And I guarantee you, none of them are ever going to watch a race again.
Yeah.
This ruined their
So
day.
uh, I
It's
get
a
it.
bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer. In the grand scheme and the big picture of global, national and global audience, it's probably not that bad because what was missed from a TV standpoint was a very low rated practice broadcast,
Fair.
right? And
That's
what they
correct.
and what we got today was a lot of really good action on what hopefully had more people watching. So,
Yeah.
you know, don't do it again. God forbid this had been next weekend in DC and they had to
Guys,
cancel Friday,
we're
you
all
know.
real worried about the DC race, and we're going to talk about that next week. We're not touching that until it's time for it.
Mhm.
But
The only good thing
moving
about
into
that race
DC,
is
this is not
that's being done by Penske Entertainment.
it. Yeah, and again, I've got some thoughts, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday of next week. Penske Entertainment is running the DC race, and my God, who can run a race better than Roger Penske? The captain knows how to put on a show. Um,
Yeah, and the people
it, it's
running
it's
that for
not
him do not want to embarrass Roger Penske.
it's not a good time to make this kind of mistake,
No.
especially given how, look, a good portion of the community is concerned about preparation for DC. Having the race the week before be such a slap together production kind of puts a little bit of anxiety in the body. But
Well, let's see what
ultimately,
happens, but
yeah,
until then,
let's move on to the qualifiers, which
yeah.
honestly, my God, this is
Yeah. This is the craziest grid of the season.
nobody could have predicted this. Nobody could have predicted this except my husband, because after qualifiers, he was not watching. I said to him, "Hey, Nick, who do you think sat pole?" And he looks at me giggly jokey and says, "I don't know, Louis Foster." And I had to
Ah,
tell him, "Holy crap, you got it, man. Louis
yeah.
Foster sitting pole."
And he sat pole by 4/10 of a second. He
Hmm.
didn't nip anybody. He shattered it. He did his time. He parked his car with more than a minute left on the clock to ensure that he didn't wreck like Pelot did, like Power did, like other people in qualifying earlier in the day who didn't ultimately transfer.
Yeah,
So yeah, what a smart qualifying by Louis. He did it also on used alternate tires. So he
that's
goes into
huge.
tomorrow's race as the pole sitter and the only person in the Fast Six with two sets of sticker alternates for the race.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That an extra set of sticker reds can change your race. And Louis Foster putting himself in that position, starting from pole, um, is a not something we typically expect from Louis Foster and RLL.
Right. His last
But
pole was Road America last year.
yeah, but ultimately it's also just impressive from anybody. If
Hmm.
Alex had done the same, I would have been like, wow, even for Alex, that's good. So I I can't say enough good things about what Louis and the team at RLL did today. All three cars from RLL in the Fast 12. Mick
Yeah.
Schumacher and Graham Rahal also starting in fantastic position at 10 and 11. This is nothing but a win for that team today. And kind of Schumacher in particular needs to perform
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
is, the RLL has confirmed it will be Louis Foster in that seat next year.
Yep.
Schumacher is looking for his seat. I'm a little surprised because I thought that the money that came with Mick would be worthwhile for RLL to retain. Um, if Mick is looking to show people he deserves to continue to drive in IndyCar, this is the way to do it.
Right. Exactly. I'll tell you what, another guy who showed he deserves to stay in IndyCar is Dennis Hauger.
Woo,
Eh,
Dennis.
There
And
was a,
again, I want to look at this as a team victory because,
yeah,
Dennis Hauger qualifying fifth is a rookie in the Fast Six is always exciting. But his teammate Romain Grosjean is sitting at 14th, and look, I gave Dale Coyne a bit of a hard time on our pre-race preview.
yeah.
Hauger went to Norwegian media and had some fighting words to say about the prep that they gave them for Portland. Was unhappy. Clearly, somebody heard him.
Yeah. Well, or yeah, who knows? I mean, they came ready to roll as well. I mean, Grosjean was at 14th is better than I would have expected.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out tomorrow, where, some of the people you would have considered favorites, Kirkwood, Will
King of the
Power,
Streets. Oof.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
starting from the back there, Joseph Newgarden, he just never had anything together on the day and couldn't put it together. He's not there because he made a mistake. It just didn't feel like he had the pace.
And
Um,
then and then something that I think is really important to talk about with this qualifying order is Alex Palou starting at 12th.
right,
Now, we have nobody thinks that the championship is in very serious jeopardy. Even now, it is not. Even if he DNFs this race, it's not in serious jeopardy. But
right,
this is the kind of mistake that he can't afford to be making. Crashing his car, spinning and crashing after setting a transferable time
right.
and having everything erased and deleted for him, that's the kind of thing that costs championships, that
Well,
costs race wins.
yeah, he's starting in the middle of the pack,
Hmm. Which is
with
a dangerous place to start on a
well,
track where nobody
look
knows
who's
where passing
around him. I
opportunities
mean, the
are.
good news is one of the cars around him is a teammate, Kiffin Simpson. But
Kiffin won't hit him,
You've got
ideally.
Schumacher right in front of you, and you got Grosjean, and Grosjean will not give any quarter,
Roman
right?
gives no quarter. Yeah.
So, and you've got the Sultan of Sketch, Rasmussen just behind there too. So you've got people in and
Even
around.
even at 10th, Graham is, at Road America. Graham
Yeah.
had his little scuffle with Will. Alex is in a fairly dangerous position in a track where nobody knows where the good passing opportunities are, where nobody knows where you should be sticking your nose in and where you shouldn't.
Well, I know for sure that turn 2, 3 complex right after the start finish line, the 1, 2, 3 is going to be tight.
Hmm.
It's very similar to that early section in St. Petersburg where Stingray Robb had his little tete-a-tete with, I think it was Mick.
It was
It,
Mick. It's where
yeah,
Mick broke his wrist. Yeah.
right. So it's similar to that. So that's an area going into the hairpin. They thought maybe there were going to be multiple lines. There aren't really. It's like if you're on the inside, you can't dive bomb anybody because you can't make that turn tight enough without pushing them out. So there's going to be a lot of areas of risk before the field gets spread out a little bit.
You and our very good friend Jeff Shersmead after Portland said, and you and I said on Wednesday, the best thing that Alex can do to preserve his championship is to qualify pole as much as possible to give himself clean air. He has
Mhm.
put himself in a position where you are now in danger
Right.
because of who you're racing next to. Because, and not even, it doesn't really matter who, I mean, it does, but it's not just who you're racing next to when you're starting in 12th. You're starting in 12th going into a complex corner. You are going to be bunched. You
Yeah.
are going to be bunched. You stand a good chance of breaking a good second of clean air if you're starting in the front. But when you are in the middle, oh, look out, man. This is, I think Alex is going to lose the championship off of this race? No.
Right.
Do I think that this is the kind of mistake he wants to make, that he feels okay about, that he is just waving off? No, I
Yeah.
think Alex Palou, knowing him and knowing the way he focuses and commits to winning, this is the kind of mistake that he's going back to his hotel room tonight, to his trailer, wherever he's staying, and smacking himself in the face.
Yeah.
Because
He
you
was.
cannot be when you are in the lead for a championship, you cannot be qualifying 12th. You're putting yourself at risk.
No, in his post-race interview, he said, "This is 100% on me. They gave me a rocket ship. We were fast. I made a mistake, and now I have to make up for it tomorrow."
Of course he said that. I love Alex. Of course he said that. He's so humble. He's the most humble man
But
in
but it,
sport.
it was true too. I
Yeah.
mean, there was no hiding from that,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't like, oh, well, this guy blocked me and I did that or whatever. No, there was no question about what happened. He
Very
came
clearly
across the
Alex's
start
error.
finish line and yeah, maybe it was going right into the setting sun and his visibility was, but it was that way for everybody. So,
Yeah. Everybody had the same sunset.
yeah. Yeah.
That's not a
So,
reasonable
I think another
explanation.
guy again who did a great job today, David Malukas. He's in seventh. Obviously, not the fastest of the Penske cars today, but at one point he held the lap record after um, the Fast 12 and or
After the
no
group
after
stage.
after the group stage, and he had by quite a bit until Louis came in and broke it even harder. But his car looked really fast. If he can stay up front there and something happens to Alex, he helps his championship chances.
This is one of those situations where, look, obviously for Malukas, if he wants to make championship momentum, he would prefer to be starting up higher while Palou is down in 12th. But seventh for Malukas is that's not something he can't make up. I know that
Yeah,
super
and
speedway
you look
short
at
oval is a different situation, but we can't forget that he came from the back of the field to the podium at our, very most recent race, not last
yeah,
one, but our second to last race. I David Malukas is a guy who's starting from seventh is a real danger, especially given that many of the cars in the Fast Six are not used to being there and
right.
maybe not as comfortable holding position. Malukas has proven himself to be a bold racer with all of the gumption that you need to make good passes. I look out for him starting from seventh for sure. I'm very excited for Scott McLaughlin, who
Yeah.
we've just been thirsty threes. We've just been thirsty for Scott McLaughlin to give us a really solid finish in any qualifier or race all season. Of course, he finished third at the 500, and he had some
Hmm.
really excellent restarts there, but it's been a while since we've seen Scott McLaughlin at the top step of the podium. And
Right.
as we continue to, move through the silly season, no Penske drivers are in danger right now. Do I think he could be next year if he still doesn't have a race win at this point next season? Yes, I do.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see him do that. The other driver who I really love seeing in the Fast Six is Rinus VeeKay.
Again.
Again,
Yeah, he's just killing it.
outperforming that JHR.
Yeah. Yeah, he's making it harder and harder for Chip to ignore him, even though, Christian Lundgaard is in second position. So,
Yeah.
there's and Lundgaard in the post-race press conference was he was interesting because he talked a lot about how surprised he was to be there. He didn't think McLaren was strong rolling off the truck. He basically, um, yeah, he just felt like it was not going to be their weekend, and somehow he's
Mhm.
up there. So
Yeah.
really interesting to see
I
where
look,
it goes.
regardless of, there are rumors about what it's like to work with Christian Lundgaard. As long as you get those results, that doesn't matter. If he can
Eh,
take a car that he doesn't feel is a winning car and turn it into a P2 start, that is an undeniable talent. And I think that race for the 9 car has got to look really interesting right now. I don't envy Chip right now
yeah,
deciding between those two drivers. I would be really thrilled to take either of them in my car,
right.
but picking the right one is a real hands in the air toss up. On one hand, you have Rinus VK, who is so far outperforming what he should be able to do
Yeah.
in the JHR car. There is no reasonable explanation for how he's been able to piece together so many top 10 starts and finishes this season in a car that really should be running below 15 consistently. On the other
Yeah.
hand, you have the guy who just got dropped from McLaren after winning 2 races,
Right.
the strongest McLaren driver of the season. It's really hard to say no to either of them, which in turn makes it hard to say yes to either of them because
Right.
you're saying no to the other. I don't envy that decision, but I'm really really excited that they're making it hard for him.
Remind me again, does McLaren have the technical partnership with or not McLaren, does Ganassi have the technical partnership with
MSR,
MSR?
MSR
Yeah.
is their technical partnership.
And so those are the two seats that are available. So
So
I wonder if
they're
there's
putting one in one and
conversation.
the other in the
Yeah,
other. It's
exactly.
it's it's either gonna be Lundgaard at MSR and VK at Ganassi or the reverse.
Right. I
I
think.
I
Yeah.
think I
Yeah.
think that that's fairly reasonable and clear.
All right. So
In terms of stats, you put Lundgaard in the 9 and VK at MSR, but VK's been outperforming that car so hard. He's
yeah.
making it very difficult to say no to him.
In F1, they do driver tests, right? They
Yeah.
bring drivers in and they say, get in the car and drive it and let's see what you can do. I
Hmm.
wonder if it's, if that's what they need to do in this case.
I would love to see both of them do that. Ultimately, I think what it's going to come down to for the 9 car, because of how involved PNC has been,
No, I know. Yeah.
it's going to be a PNC decision. And
Yep.
they've met with Lundgaard. If they like him, I think it's going to be Lundgaard. If they met with him and didn't like him, I think it's going to be VK. But how do we know that? We don't. Nobody was in the room.
Nope. So let's talk about tomorrow's race a little bit and then play our game because we
Yeah,
haven't,
what does this crazy qualifying order mean for tomorrow?
yeah.
We've
Well,
talked a little bit about what it means for Alex at the start of the race and how difficult that's going to be for him to be packed up. But what does it mean for some other drivers?
the big question, and nobody knows anything because nobody's raced here before.
I
And
love that.
Foster said that someone asked him, where are you going to be looking at your mirrors? Where do you think you have to worry about being passed? He said, first of all, I don't know. And second of all, if I did, I wouldn't tell you because I don't want to give that away. But the
Smart kid.
the the real places where it looks like the passing opportunities are going to be is uh going from turn 3 to turn 4, maybe in turn 5 at the hairpin, but again, that'll be tough. What'll happen is it won't be a dive bomb situation, but if it's all about getting a good exit there. And if
Hmm.
you get a good exit, you could pass coming out of turn five. Then
And if you
going
have a
in,
bad exit, you will be
you
passed.
you will get past. And then going into turn six, that's an interesting place because that braking zone is also a slight curve. So you have to turn and brake at the same time, which is a real challenge.
Yeah.
So that's a good spot. And then I think again, when in that 8, 9, 9, 10 area is going to be another opportunity, but who knows? 10 was a real car eater today. That's where a lot of people had problems in practice and in qualifying. And so I think they might be a little reluctant to try to push passes into that corner.
Hmm. Unless they're really, really feeling bold and desperate, which we have a lot of drivers starting out of position who may be feeling that way.
That's right.
This is
So
look, we said at the end of yesterday or at the end of earlier this week's episode that we didn't I said I don't want to know anything after qualifiers. I only want to know the starting grid and I want to approach this race with a lot of mystery and excitement. And that is exactly what
you
this
got it.
qualifier has delivered.
So let's do our victory lane game. Are you
Yes,
ready?
let's play Victory Lane. Harvey, who's picking first this week?
You are
We
picking
missed last
first
week.
this week.
Okay, good. Yes, wonderful.
So I'll let you
Um,
pick first. Let's go with the podium reverse order.
all right. P3 on the podium. I am going to choose Renus VK.
Oh,
He needs it, and he's been racing so hard. I want him to get that podium. Renus VK on the third step.
excellent. Good selection. I am going to say Christian Lundgaard.
Great choice.
He's going to stay up high and get a solid finish.
Christian's proven himself to be a very solid racer. There's absolutely no reason he shouldn't hold position. He's not on my podium though. P2, I have little Dave. He's the
Ooh,
P2 champion, and I think he's going to do it again, coming
make it.
from seven, almost there, but not quite.
I'm going to see Scotty Mack moving up one and
That's
finishing second.
that's such a great pick that I have him winning the race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I
And
I I think that Scotty Mack, one thing about him is that I do think that he sees his opportunity and rolls with the punches very well. This is a race that people are going to have to do that.
yeah.
Stay calm in the wake of chaos. The restarts at Indy were a great example of how Scott McLaughlin is great at that. I think that in this bizarre race, this is the time for Scott to remind everybody that he is also a Penske race winner. Let's go, Scott McLaughlin. Who's winning the race for
Okay.
you?
I'm going totally crazy,
Yeah, go
and I'm
nuts.
going to say Louis Foster. He's going to start
Whoa.
from the pole and win the race. He has looked so strong from the first practice right through qualifying. If they don't screw up pit stops, if he stays aggressive the way he has been and the way he talked about in the press conference, someone asked him, "Now that you're on the pole, do you feel like in the race He's like, "No, this track favors aggressive driving." So I'm going to be aggressive right to the end.
I like that pick a lot. And the thing that you didn't mention here is that it's not just that Louis looks good this weekend. RLL putting three cars in the Fast 12
Yeah.
means that he's going to have the equipment behind him. Because if it was just him sitting there at pole and then the other two cars, somewhere in the midfield, okay, does he have the equipment? We know he has the equipment. All three RLL cars were good enough to be there.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is this is a great opportunity for Louis. I like that pick a lot.
Well, and you know who won the inaugural Toronto IndyCar race?
I sure don't.
Bobby Rahal.
Oh,
So wouldn't it be a lovely bit of synergy if
for
a
his
Rahal,
team to
yeah,
win the inaugural Markham race. It could only be better if it were Graham,
yeah, but Graham's not winning this
but I
race.
don't think Graham's going to win. I don't think I do want to hang on. We did our 5 minute rant about the poor job that they did getting the track ready. I do want to give Graham was the only driver who was willing to say, yeah, this is not going to happen, guys. And we all said, like, is that real or is this just Graham being a little dramatic? This is what I love about Graham is that he's always willing to say what he thinks.
He gives
And
zero Fs.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And sometimes it does wind up being nothing, but often it winds up being very legitimate. I appreciate Graham's candid
Yeah.
attitude
Well,
and his forthright nature.
and I said Graham's not winning this race, but Graham could win
He
this race
could.
from 10th
I don't think
place.
he's going to,
From
but he
10th place,
could.
he could win this race.
He could
All
do it.
right.
He's
Who
qualified in
knows?
decent position.
There we saw yellows, we saw reds today. It's this is not going to be a clean race.
No, I don't think so at all.
So that could also throw things into a fit. So
Okay,
there we go.
that
Not
is a
neither
great
of us have
segue.
Pelot on the
No,
podium.
neither of us have below on the
So
podium. And I think it's just whenever Pelot starts out of podium or out of position, it's fun to not pick him for your podium. Is
right.
Alex capable of podiuming from 12th? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's capable of winning from 12th. It's entirely possible that he comes back, but it's really, really fun that we have the opportunity to not choose him. So we're going to. That is such a great segue, though, how it's going to be a messy race into biggest mover.
Yes.
I'm going to do something a little wacky.
Oh.
There's an obvious choice here,
Yeah.
and it's willpower. I'm going to take Kyle Collette.
Okay.
I'm going to take Kyle Collette. He has both been the victim and the cause of some last minute chaos. This qualifier included.
Kyle
But
was
God,
so
that luck's got to
Kyle
turn the other
today.
way at some point. He is fast. He is
Yeah.
fast. If he
He did.
can pull it together, starting at 23rd where he is, I think that Kyle Collette. God, I want him to finish top 10.
Right.
And I think he stands a great chance of doing it here where everybody's going to be a little bit wacky. And Kaio has proven himself willing to throw his nose into the mix. He might crash, but if he doesn't crash, I think he moves up 10 positions.
All right. I'm going to take the king of the streets.
Oh, you're taking Kyle.
Yeah. I'm going to take
That's
Kirk.
also a great pick.
I'm going to take, I mean, 16th, obviously that limits the total number of places he can move up, but he could
Mhm.
finish top 5.
Yeah, easily.
So I'm going to take Kirkwood and see where that gets me.
He had the pace, and it was only an accident of not his cause that
Right.
stopped
His
him from
teammate.
transferring. So
Yeah.
we've gotta look out for Kyle here, and the Andretti team has made smart decisions on street circuits. Now, will they give him good pit stops? I don't know. That's something we got to look out for. But I like that. That is very reasonable.
Or
Biggest bust.
a
This
lot
is
of
a fun
options.
one because we have a lot of people starting up high who don't usually sit there. And as always, we say it brings me no joy to say this. I think it's going to be Louis Foster.
Mm.
I think he's a smart racer.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of potential for him to move down, even if he doesn't get caught up in an incident.
And I am going to say, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to say that it's going to be Alex Rossi.
Okay.
These
Yeah, I totally disagree because this is a race that is because it's going to be so chaotic is going to reward intelligent decisions. And I always say that Rossi
I
makes
just
some of
think
the
they've had
smartest
such
decisions on
bad
the
luck.
grid.
They've had
Yeah,
such bad luck all season. I don't see it turning around, and I'm betting on Rossi
that's totally fair, totally
or
fine.
against
I
him.
totally disagree. Now it is time for the plot twist. And
Right.
I'm going to do something bonkers again. I love
Okay.
doing bonkers plot twists. I'm going to go a full Chevrolet top five.
All Chevy top
I'm going to
five.
go a full Chevrolet top
Wow.
five.
That
And
would be crazy.
yeah, it would be super duper fun though at the Honda Dealers Grand Prix. And I am going to bet 2 points on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a crazy one. You know what?
It is crazy.
Here's my crazy one.
Yeah,
Two Dale Coyne cars in the top 10 at the end of the
that's
race.
nuts. That's nuts.
I know it is, but it is kind of possible,
It absolutely is.
with Roman at
I think
14th.
Hauger
So
retains the I think Hauger retains the top 10 spot. I don't know if Grosjean's going to be able to move up, but ultimately from 14, all it takes is a few people ahead of him making boneheaded decisions, which, hey, there are a lot of people ahead of him out of position who have made boneheaded decisions in the past. This is entirely possible for him.
it is.
What are you
So we've
betting?
got, hmm?
What are
Oh,
you betting?
let's go 2 points.
Excellent.
I'm going to on that. All right. So that's it for our post Markham qualifying, whatever day this was. This was a long day.
I'm in
We'll,
Spain. I don't know what day it is.
yeah.
I'm
I
six
know
hours
what
ahead
day
of
it
you.
is for
I have
you.
no idea what day it
It's
is.
tomorrow for you already. So
I
it's
guess.
race day for you
I
already.
guess it is.
Um, so I'm going to get this cut, get it put up, and we'll let everyone wonder whether we've gone insane or not. But I think we've got a great race tomorrow. I wouldn't miss this one for the world. If you like chaos, if you like, unlikely winners and that to
Hmm.
happen, I really think this is going to be the race. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this all shakes out on this new track, which aside from the fact that it took forever to get it going, is a fantastic circuit.
If this had been ready on time, we would all be singing its praises. I think they did a really bad job, and I think they lost more fans than they realize. That having been said, you can make up for it. Give us a show tomorrow. I think they stand a really great chance of doing that. I'm so excited to watch the on track action tomorrow. I agree with you. We haven't gone into a race this season with as many questions, with as much uncertainty. The only thing I'm certain of is that it will be weird.
Yeah.
And I just can't get enough weird. Give me more
Well,
weird, guys.
so if you want weird, follow us on social media.
That's
She's
true.
at FastCarCaz. I'm at Harvey_drives, and we are Rides and Drives Team Radio. And on that note, I'm gonna say we are out.
Drive safe, everybody.